everyone, it's Nerf. Welcome back to the channel. This is a video review of the Nerf Raider CS35. This is a pretty elite blaster with Slamfire, and it's magazine fed. A pretty cool package from back in the day. Let's check it out. We will start off with the blaster overview. As always, starting up front, no end strike barrel lug or anything like that. Up top are two tactical little rails that you can put whatever attachments you want on there. Getting around to the back is an end strike stock attachment point. You can put whatever stock you want on there. All the stocks I have fit on here, so that's really cool. Getting down to the grip is very comfortable and well balanced for this blaster. And it reminds me a lot of an elite grip, even though this entire blaster is pretty elite. Getting down to the bottom is a sling or lantern mount. If you want to sling this blaster, which if as a secondary, I would, or even primary, I would recommend doing. Yes, down at the bottom, what they love to do with elite and pretty elite blasters is put this little emergency secret shot in there. You can fit in one dart into that little hole in there. Be careful how far you push in your darts and stuff, because you might not see it again with that. Getting down to the trigger pull is very smooth for this blaster of its time and for the condition that it's in. It's thrifted and it actually works fairly well. So far I had no real issues with the blaster. The blaster does have Slamfire, so that means you hold down the trigger, and every time the slide here racks all the way back, it will fire out the dart, that for more a much faster fire rate, right? So the trigger super smooth. I like it. Getting around to the magazine well, this blaster is magazine fed. To put in a magazine, you simply prime it back, and you can put in the magazine. It is horizontal magazine, but with this particular form factor, it makes sense to have a horizontal magazine. And you can put in your mag just like that, and then close the blaster, and you're ready to shut it. This magazine well held pretty much all of my end strike magazines, plus a few off brands that I can, including drum mags. This blaster originally came with the 35 round drum that we all know and love, known as the Raider drum, because this was the first blaster that really introduced it on this one. This is the 25 round symmetrical drum that I got with an Infinite from a friend. So this is the only drum mag that I have, but it is compatible with that. There's pros and cons as to having different magazines in the blaster. We're not going to talk about that in this review video. So magwell is pretty smooth and holds in everything that I fed through it pretty darn well. To take out the magazine, you'll prime back the blaster. You press this giant switch and then pull out the blaster just like that. The only problem I have with this one, it requires you to break your grip to be able to pull out the blaster, but in this particular form factor, I don't really find it that much of a con, honestly. So that is the magazine release. Getting over also on here is an access door. You can open up this to clear out any jams or malfunctions. I surprisingly did not have any jams or malfunctions with this unit in my testing procedure on that, but it's great that that is there. Getting up to the last feature up front here is the priming handle. Prime stroke is, I would say, medium to short length, and is super smooth for that. Like I said, the blaster does have Slamfire, and doing this blaster in Slamfire works very well as well. So far for a thrifted blaster, this is actually in pretty good condition for that. So that's everything externally to go over with the Raider. Let's see it out on the range. We will be using the drum magazine and X-Shot Insanity style waffle head darts. We're doing this in Slamfire mode only, because this blaster just screams to always be in Slamfire mode. fixed a jam. Apparently I put one of those 3/4 length darts in the magazine, and that caused it to seize up. So next, we're gonna do the X-Shot Insanity style darts again, but in a 10-round magazine. We're gonna see if that hiccup was from the drum or if it's the blaster. Alright, lastly, we're gonna do the same thing again, but we're gonna like single fire this, no slam fire. We're gonna really test how the blaster is. Okay, so firing analysis and conclusion of the Raider CS35. We got a lot to talk about with this blaster. The firing, as far as the firing demo went in here, was not that great. Unfortunately, that's about how it went with my testing procedure. I actually didn't have any jams or malfunctions with it. I had only a single jam or two while the firing demo was because I put in the wrong type of dart in there. These are full-length darts. The other ones by Zero X-Shot are 3/4 lengths. They don't feed well into magazine-fed blasters really at all, and that caused it to seize up. That did not happen in my testing procedure. Now, just because I had no jams or malfunction in my testing procedure does not mean that the blaster didn't perform up to standards. That just means that it fired every day. It didn't malfunction. It could shoot like crap and still not be a malfunctioning thing. It's the type of blaster. So, firing this blaster in both single fire and slam fire, while it was fun, got very out of control very quickly. The slam fires seem to almost seize up a little bit if you weren't controlling it very well. And in single fire, there was a lot of farting out of the barrel, those type of things as well. I did some even more retesting of it afterwards. I probably should have done more of a firing demo with another type of dart, which I put in some Amosting darts in there and got better results in there. So I don't know what it is about these X-Shot Insanity darts in this blaster, but apparently it doesn't like them really at all, and that reflects in the chrono data. So the chrono data for the X-Shot Insanity darts, I got about 34 feet per second, which is quite terrible for standard elite par. Now for Nerf, the old Nerf end strike line, that's all right. That's actually a little bit low for even that series, but it's okay. But for comparing to stuff now on the modern market, this is a little bit trash. And I think it's just due to the nature of the blaster was never designed to perform like that, and it being thrifted while still in all right condition, and probably not having the best type of dart in there. It fires elite darts and Amosting darts better than these. Those factors would make reasonable sense as to comparing to the numbered results from there, like the chrono data. With this, about 34 feet per second. With the Amosting darts, I was actually averaging like a solid 43. I don't think I shot a single dart that clipped above or below 43 feet per second. According to my test, like everything shot at almost precisely 43 feet per second every single time. So higher velocity out of these Amosting darts. I think that if you feed these through here, I'd say probably only elite darts within them. Overall, the blaster works kind of as expected. It's a little bit weak, and this is why this was replaced by the Rampage in the Elite series. I haven't felt that blaster, so I don't know if how superior that would be, but I'm hoping that it would be way more superior than what this blaster is. This felt very, very weak. and stuff. I really wouldn't recommend this to anybody except for the 35 round drum that came with it. This was the first one that came with a drum with high capacity, and it became a staple in there. I was using a symmetrical drum. That also could have been part of an issue. It's used to feeding up and not sideways, so because it fed a little bit better once I switched to a standard box mag, but not that much. So major cons on here is that it's just weak, not the smoothest firing as well, and just low FPS in general with it. But the pros is that it's still fairly fun to use as well, and the customizability is there. It has 2 tactical rails and a stock attachment point. You can use it, and it's very simple to use. However, if you're going to get this blaster, I recommend using it in Slamfire only. That's its most practical and its strongest aspect of it, because you wouldn't get something like this, throw in a 35 round drum and just start single firing. Now, would you? That just doesn't make sense. I don't know, you could be one of those people out there, but that just doesn't make sense with this type of package. So my personal opinion on this blaster is actually kind of negative. I was expecting it to be a little bit better, considering all of the pre-elite blasters have impressed me thus far, besides the Maverick and the Recon. I don't want to talk about the Recon on that one. I'm still mad at the Recon for being a disappointment to me. That's a whole separate rant on that one, so we'll get off of that. So kind of negative. I was expecting a little bit better of this for what I'm getting into. Maybe if I try the Rampage and try firing that one for a little bit, maybe I'd have a better experience. But I only have just the Raider CS35. That's what I picked up, so this is what I'm judging on so far. So kind of negative experience, but that's up to you to determine. I got this for Goodwill for $10. It's probably gonna run on the market for like $25. To be honest with you, it's actually kind of expensive for what you're getting into. I'd probably look into the Rampage or something with better Slamfire and see what you can do with it. That also is part of my recommendations. Look at what's out on the market and see if there's probably something better that you could do for your money on there. But I do like that you could take the drum magazines and stuff as well. I mean, it's a standard end strike magazine, well, so of course it's going to try to take everything as well. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below of the Raider CS35, and I will see you guys in the next one.